it on their computer and hope I just don't get disconnected. And my tape down here so I don't get disconnected. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start off with a song that you hear a lot, but you normally don't hear it with this style. This is actually a style that was introduced back in the 80s, and then went away on some of the Lowrey models, and then it came back, and it's actually a very fabulous style. The style is called Chicago Swing, and the song I'm going to play is All of Me. I'll open it up with that. It's a fun number, and but you hear it usually with other rhythm styles. So here we go.
Yay!
Thank you. Hopefully that sounded all right. Was that a good sound check, Sean?
Yeah, that was good. I
Joni?
checked that original sound button just to
Oh,
make
of course.
sure.
No,
it
it's
should be on,
on.
but just check.
It's on.
Good.
Just, well, yeah, I have 3 different models hooked up today, so this is going to be fun. Well, the event I called the event Triple Play, and the reason why I called it that was obvious. I'm playing 3 models, but I wanted to do something a little different than what we normally do. And it's always been the case over the years, as new models were introduced, we tend to gravitate towards those models because it's the newest thing and we always highlight them. But I wanted to kind of go back in time over the last decade and a half and highlight some of my favorite models in this size categories. These have always represented the best values for a Lowrey for many things. First of all, they're not as pricey as the 60, 70,000, 80,000. Those are very pricey. And it seems like over the years, people that tend to upgrade, their stopping point typically is usually in this range where they feel like, hey, I've got a lot of what I've had, I got what I need, and so forth. And it's not quite as expensive. But what I can tell you is I've been with Fletcher Music since 1993. That's 20 some odd years. The last 15 instruments in this category, to me, they had some huge breakthroughs with instruments in the sides. The instrument I opened up with is called the Encore. I'll come back to that in a minute. And I'm not going to go in order of era, by the way. I'm not going to go, this came out first and then this came. I'm going to bounce around a little bit and I'll let you know. So I'm going to hop on over here to the Lowrey Odyssey. Now, I put the pictures in the email. Some people said when they opened it up on their phone, they could barely see the pictures. They were small. If you open it up on your computer, they were bigger. So I guess it just depends. But I'm going to come on over to the instrument called the Lowrey Odyssey. Why was this instrument in this era one of the most influential models in the line? Well, it was, to me, the first time that I have seen an instrument have more of what the top of the line models had than any other model prior to this, okay? So what I mean by that is in 2001, an instrument called the Lowrey Royale was introduced, and it had some amazing breakthrough features. One of those was called Song Setup. Another one of those was called well, rhythm preset wasn't new, but the way it worked. and the category setups and a few other features. Now, I'm not going to be able to play everything that this instrument has, but I'm going to highlight some of my favorites and so forth. And so one of the things that was really cool was when I refer to Royale, it's because that was the instrument that was introduced in 2001. It was $70,000. Woo! And it had a lot of cool styles on it and the way the rhythm presets work. So on here, you'll see that there's 8 rhythm presets and a general presets and a rhythm preset. And I'm going to get back to that in a moment and show you how that works. But you're going to see me pressing these as I play some of these styles. One of the cool styles that was introduced on the Royale was a style called the swing train. And why that was unique was, for many years, Lowrey had a style called the train, which was a country bluegrass style. But it was great for country and music and what have you. But a lot of people said, why don't they have one for that Chattanooga Choo-Choo song? And finally they did it. Well, at that time, the Royale was the only model that had it. Now, they put it on this instrument, and I just simply go into, there's a whole new set of category styles on here under this variation, and the style just simply says swing train, and when you hear the beginning of it, you'll hear the train, and it has that famous Glenn Miller introduction for the song Chattanooga Choo-Choo. Listen. That was a great style, wasn't it? Now, yeah, wasn't it fun? Now, how many of you, I'm just going to see a show of hands that I could see in the video, who was in the class that I did yesterday for the SD Easy? I know Lee, Jeannie. Remember we were talking about fill-in, and one of the reasons why you use fill-in? This was a classic case where I used the fill-in because I did a oops. I forgot the chord that I was supposed to play. And so I just proved my theory on that fill-in button, because when I was looking, I don't know if you caught on to it. Now, I'm going to stay in the flavor of the big band for a moment, but on a different side of things, and a little bit slower. One of the other styles that I fell in love with when that magnificent $70,000 instrument was introduced was a style called Smoky Lounge. And so when they introduced it on this instrument, I was just blown away, and a lot of people fell in love with it. And it's a style that I just said called Smoky Lounge. And as I'm playing, I'm going to use my presets. Now, the Odyssey, by the way, I don't know if you can remember all this. I'll put this on YouTube, but has 42 styles of music. So the panel works that you have 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 16 styles with 3 variation buttons, giving us 42 wonderful styles. You have 8 general presets. However, when you use the rhythm preset, it turns it into 9. And so 9 times 42 styles equals 386, if I did the math right. And what's great about that is they're foolproof. So no matter which button you press, you're always going to get a great sound. Now I'm going to prove it to you. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm going to try this out. And I'm going to look on the screen here as I'm playing a song and student participation. I can tell you who I could see faces-wise, let's see here. I see Jeannie, I see Linda, I see Lee, Pat, Julie's iPad. How did you get to have your name as iPad B? That's cool. I want a last name like that. Gloria and Denny. I'll just look up, and I have 8 numbers, and just put up your fingers, no more than 8, 2, 1, 3, whatever number you want. And as I'm playing, I'm going to look over and I'll call it out, and you just put a number, and I'll try to pick out a few of them, all right? So here we go. I'll start off with 0 position, and this is what you get when you first start off with. Okay, give me a number. I got a 3. All right, Linda's giving me 5. Not high 5, but an actual number 5. Well, I'll take the high 5 too. Ooh, that was a good one. Pat, did you have 4? Okay, here's still 5. Here's number 4. Ooh, that's good too. Jeannie, number from 1 through 8. 8? Ooh, nice classic jazz piano. How about you, Gloria? Oops, I lost my spot. Fill in. Isn't that great? You guys came up with,
really nice.
You know what's cool is what a lot of people don't realize is when I'm doing that, basically what you just did is you create an arrangement for me to play that song. You guys are great arrangers, and you don't even know each other, some of you. Wow, it's amazing what we can do to collaborate. Play one more number on here, and I move on. This also has the song setup feature, like a lot of the models had over the years. We have 100 song setups. You may see me occasionally in some of the models reaching up here. I might, before I play, I'm using the transpose feature. Some have them built in, some of them have right on the dash. And the other thing I really love is this category setup here called Big Band category setup. So I'm going to reach up and touch that. Now this is kind of fun because a category setup is basically a category of instruments that you would typically find in big band music. Okay, so you might hear trombones, clarinets, guitars, instruments that would normally relate to big band. Now, keep in mind, you're not stuck playing big band music. All right, so I'm going to reach over and I'm going to play one of my, this has got to be one of my favorite styles besides the swing train and the smoky lounge that you just heard, but it's called Charleston. It's kind of fun and it's upbeat and what have you. And as I'm playing along, I'm going to use some of the rhythm presets like we just did, and I'll just randomly press some of the numbers, and then I'll switch over to the big band button, and I'll use some of those sounds, and the bottom line is they're foolproof. You're never going to sound bad by the use of these presets. The more presets you have, the better. I did the math. I said there's 386 rhythm presets, a total with the category presets and some of the song setups. It's like 486 presets in total. Woo, that's a lot. And you can't remember them all, but here's the good news is that if you use one, it's always going to set up great. It's never going to set up with a bad setup. Now I'm going to come over and do a little something here a little fun here, and I'll tell you what I'm doing after the fact, but here we go. Let's see, I'm going to get my tempo right. Okay. Now right now I'm using just the rhythm preset, so there's 9 different setups just for the Charleston. I'll play a couple more here. Now I'll go to big band. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I reached over and pushed the button over here. In case you're wondering what I did, well, I'll show you as I'm setting up the next. So, yes, I recorded myself. So you have up to 6. Well, technically it's 6, I think it's 6 songs you can record, but I found out that you can actually do up to 24 or 30. I say that because I haven't gone any further than that. And how that works is, I had a student once that purchased an Odyssey, and it was right around the time of the holidays, and she wanted some Christmas music, and she didn't want to use up all 6 slots for the just Christmas songs. So what I did is I used slot 1, and I recorded like 10 Christmas songs and holiday songs on one, and then she still had all the other spots to do the other. So that is the Lowrey. I better come back. These organs have feeling, so if I don't give it recognition, guys, let's give it the Lowrey Odyssey a round of applause. Yay! Good job, Odyssey, for making me sound good. All right. Now, we're going to fast forward to the year 2000, and we're going to fast forward to the year 2000, and I want to say 11.
I think that's right.
Maybe 10. I think it's 11. When Lowrey introduced its first, what they call virtual orchestra. And what I want to say, now I can say, is it was basically clever marketing, is really what it was. And there was an instrument called the Lowrey Sterling. That was the flagship model that replaced the previous flagship models. And the virtual orchestra concept, what it basically did is on the styles, they basically grouped them. The instrument that I played a minute ago, the Odyssey, has 3 variations. So you get a list of styles, and then there were, I think I said 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14 on the panel. And if you push another variation, you got another 14. If you put another variation, you got another 14. Well, when they introduced the virtual orchestras, and I say that because they've been orchestras for many years. They've been virtual orchestras since the late 80s. What they did, instead of variation 1, 2, and 3, they titled them full band pianists and guitarists. So I know some of you are familiar with that. And all that means is you have a different variation for all those styles. Some of them are more piano-based, and some are guitar-based. So they just made it so when you touched it, you knew that, hey, I might get a piano type background versus a full band, etc. And one of my favorite styles on here is actually in the pianist category. Now, just a show of hands, anybody know the name Liberace? Yeah, only two or three of you? Okay. He was it's interesting, his unique lifestyle that a lot of people don't say a lot of nice things about, but one thing that's undeniable is his talent and his skill was amazing. And yeah, he was flashy and whatever, but he could play the piano. Could he play? And I would, if I only could have Liberace accompany me when I play, wouldn't that be great? You got to go like this. Wouldn't it be cool? Well, not now, because that means you would have a ghost. That would be kind of scary. But if he was around, wouldn't it be great if you say, hey, Liberace, come on over. And I want you to play the piano and I play a melody. Well, that's what they did. There's actually two styles of music on here dedicated, inspired by Liberace's styling. And one of them is called Awesome Piano. So when you hear this, you're going to hear, I'll just play a little bit of the introduction, and then I'm going to go to my other favorite one. So here's the Awesome Piano. So as you can see, that very clearly, if you listen to the fills and the introduction, that's a very famous Liberace styling. But I'm going to go to my other favorite Liberace style, and they call this one Candelabra. Now again, I'm going to use my rhythm presets, or they call them style setups on here. And all that means is now on here, if we're doing some math, I have 5 style setup buttons plus the 1. All right, so that's 6. That gives me 6 style setups. I'm just trying to think this in my head here. Times, now how many rhythms we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Times 2 is 12. Times 3 is 36. So 36 times 6 is 216 different presets or setups, okay? Again, you don't have to worry about, I try to encourage people, don't try to remember every preset. I might know about 4 or 5 of them off the top of my head, just because I use them a lot. But I'm just going to randomly push the 5 buttons, just like you were telling me earlier, someone called out 1 and 5. I'm just going to randomly push the presets, and this is what we get. Listen. Yeah, now if you have an instrument like this and you're playing that, I think the key is you got to kind of do your hand and you got to do that one little extra throw up in the air. Oh, it's dramatic. And then if you really want to go the distance, you have to make the face that goes along with it. You got to go like you're surprised. Hey, wow, I have Liberace here playing for me, and I never have to feed him. Now that's the fill-in. We talked about fill-ins yesterday. I forgot that amazing fill-in. I'm also doing it because I forgot the next part of the song again. Oh my goodness. Am I really recording this right now? Oh my goodness, here we go. Another preset. So it's really cool. And of course, we still have song setups. There are 100 song setups on the Lowrey Easy 10. And there's a couple other cool features that was introduced on this model for those who are not familiar with it. Some of you are familiar with it because you may have it. It's called Fake It. So at any time you want to play and you're kind of lost, or you want to just ad-lib or improvise, what have you, you can take any style that you want and very easily play along like I was doing. And if I lost my spot in the music, I just hit Fake It and just hit a bunch of notes and it plays a bunch of right notes. So that's nice, but Lowrey also did is they put another Fake It button on here for the pedals, because nobody plays pedals. So what they did, there's a button here called Pedal Magic, and anytime I press that, if I happen to hit a bass note, it'll automatically play the correct note. So even if you don't play pedals, and here's why I tell people this, a lot of people have an instrument with pedals on it, but they don't play them. But they tend to tap their feet when they're playing, and they sometimes accidentally, while they're playing, I don't know if the computer screen can see that, maybe not, but a lot of times what happens is they're tapping their feet along, and what happens is they accidentally hit a bass note, and you get this note, and it startles you. Whoa! And so what they did is they put a Fake It button for that. But the other thing it does, it's really cool, is there's a feature in here, another Fake It feature for the pedals, called Glide. So if I put that feature on, I can simply play any style of music that I want. Say I'm playing a Hawaiian. Rather than using a kick switch, you can use it on the pedal. Let's see if I can angle. Here we go. I hope I wore my pretty socks today. Oh, I got polka dots on. Okay. Now, we had a question yesterday about the foot switches, and I gave a little tip on the volume and the expression and so forth. This kind of alleviates that whole thing. You can take your foot off and just tap the pedal at any time. You don't have to worry about volume pedals or what have you. So that's a fun little feature. I'll play one more song in this one, and I'll continue onward. But I played what they called a piano style. I got to play actually two. I had to do two short ones here. One is a guitar style, which is really great because this guitar style is great for those who want to play some, I want to say, folk music. And what's really fun about this style is even if you play it at a tempo that's fast, you can play the song at the speed you want. Now I have it, it's called Guitar Standard. So if anybody has like an easy 4, 1, or 2, you have some guitar style, but this is a new one they introduced. And you'll see it's got kind of that Glenn Campbell guitar picking sound. Listen. So it sounded fast, but you play it at a tempo that makes sense for the song. And then, of course, I'll finish off with one of my favorite full band styles that this was introduced. I mentioned the name Sterling. The Sterling was the first official virtual orchestra. And what happened was some of those styles, not all of them, but some of the favorites were put on this instrument. And the one that really hit the hearts of many was this style called Wonderful World. And it's just a gorgeous style. So if I play What a Wonderful World, if you listen closely, you're going to hear the fills that was done in that song all automatically. Now this is not me using a foot switch or pedals or reach and hit buttons. And so as I'm playing, I'm going to take my hands off and kind of pretend I'm playing horns. That means that's built into the background. Listen. Yes, big round of applause, everybody. Let's mute you all. I need to hear some big round of applause. Yes, thank you, thank you. Wait, don't applaud me. Yay, Easy 10! That is the Lowrey Easy 10. And, of course, another magnificent instrument. Now, we'll come on over.
There's a hand raised here.
Now, watch. Oh, wait, just a second. I got to show you a little trick. I've been watching a lot of Star Wars lately, so what I'm going to do, by standing far, I'm going to push the cart back without even me touching it. Ready? Here we go. Oh,
Wow.
thank you. You like that magic trick? That was Victor in the background helping me out. Okay, before I go to the next one here, who had a question? You said there was a hand raised?
Marie.
No, I was just slow on the uptake. I knew Liberace.
Oh,
You
okay.
said raise your hand.
It took a while for us
Oh,
to-
okay. That's awesome. You said you knew him personally,
no.
or just know of him?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. I
Well,
grew up
good.
in his era.
Awesome. Well, there was a lot of music of yesteryear that is still influenced today. What I really like is, artists like Michael Bublé's bringing back some of that big band flavor and music of that era, which is great. Now, this instrument here is the Lowrey Encore. This instrument, to me, if I'm being upfront, I don't want to say to be honest because I'm always honest, but if I'm being upfront, is one of those models that got overshadowed a little bit more than it should have been. Because to me, in all of my 26, 7, 93, I know how to calculate a couple hundred presets, but I can't calculate how long I've been with Fletcher. 93 to 2000, that's about 27 years. Instruments in these size categories, they've always done a phenomenal job. And we could say, if there was another generation, we'd say that about that. But in the 27 years, this instrument to me was probably one of the best values out of all of the models in this size category. Because if you look at the instruments, let's see if I can take a, and if you can kind of see, you can see they're all very similar in size. The Easy 10 is a little smaller in height. You could see the Odyssey is a little taller, no, about the same. And then the Encore. The neat thing about the Encore is the design of the Encore and the lighting and the cuts still makes it easy for people to use their music. But this was what they called the A technology when it was introduced, and back in the, I want to say the year 2009 or 10, somewhere in that era. And this was the result of the phenomenal Lowrey Prestige, which then influenced models like the Sterling that I mentioned. And this technology really, I think, was when Lowrey was at its prime. For many reasons, and I can spend an entire hour on this instrument and not even, and still have time left. But I'm going to show you a few reasons why. But first of all, one of the things that I loved was, and I wonder if I have the music. Oh, I think I have a copy of it right here. This was a song that was a style that was introduced on the, and I'm going to use the, actually maybe I'll use the song setup here. By the way, this instrument has 200 song setups, and on the Lowrey Encore. But one of the styles that a lot of people fell in love with on the Prestige was a style called Unforgotten, for the unforgettable music of Nat King Cole. Now what I'm going to do is just play the song. If you notice on some of the instruments, the signature styles, if you play them without using foot twitches and things like that, sometimes the fill-ins are built in for you, so you don't have to do a lot of work and trying to, you know, put the switch, adjust your volume, rub your tummy, do the do-si-do just to get a fill-in working. So I want you to listen to this. This is absolutely gorgeous. I'm just going to use a regular rhythm preset, the introduction, and I'm going to play the song as I see it from beginning to end. Here we go. Unforgotten on the Lowrey Encore. And the reason why I put my hand up there and my feet so you could see that was all being done just by the instrument. Round of applause. Oh, these instruments are so much fun. I get to play them all day long. Now, I was on a class earlier with Sean today, and he was doing a class for some of the larger models, the SU series instruments, and he pointed out something interesting. He said, you know, he was talking about country music, and he says, I think when you come to Arizona, they ID you and they ask you questions and they ask you if you like country music, because if you say no, then they don't let you in. And I think it's true. I think a lot of people like country music out here. So I thought it'd be great to feature some country music. Now, I mentioned that there are some presets in all of these models. On this one here, since I've mentioned it on these two, we also have 8 presets and a rhythm preset, but that's 9 rhythm presets. But the rhythm style choices are a little larger, so there are 64 rhythm styles times 9 and let's see, 9 times 64, carry the one, that's 576. Did I do that right? Someone got a calculator? Gloria is saying yes, so I'm going to go along with Gloria. And then there's also what they call, now this is pretty cool, there's what's called a bank preset. If you put in the right code, it'll actually give you some money down here. It's like a bank teller. No, I'm just kidding. Lee's giving me that look. I'm sorry, Lee. You have to, the jokes don't get any better.
It's a free show.
Yes. And by the way, there are no refunds for this show, so if you don't like my joke, you can't ask for a refund. But anyway, bank preset, what's really cool about that is all of the elite models have this feature. Some have more banks, but having one is very significant, and here's why. I'm just going to look at some of you. Have you ever had this happen? You experiment with sounds, and then you push a button, and you try and you experiment, and you go, I don't really think that sounds good. Never happened? You ever get a sound you don't like? Maybe not you guys. You guys are all pros. But it happens to me a lot because I like to experiment a lot. The more you experiment, the more you find that you don't like. But we do find, by experimenting from time to time, we'll find something we do like. And when you find that sound, you push a few buttons, what do? You write it down. Let's see, that tempo. Let's see, that. Let's see, you push that, okay, and you do all that. And the next time you go back, you can get that sound hopefully as close as you can, right? Well, on here, and all the top-of-the-line models, they have this feature with the bank preset, and all that means is if you find a sound that you like that you got by accident, you can very simply, right next to it, there's a button that says Memorize. You push Memorize, the letter A, and then you pick a number from 1 through 10. And it'll store it in there. That's it. So I'll give you an example. When I was playing Unforgotten, I'm going to experiment just a little bit. I had this sound. I'm going to move around. Okay, so I like this sound here, but maybe I don't want the harmony on. I'm going to turn off the harmony. And maybe I want some 16-foot strings. I'll turn off that button there. I'm just going to see what happens. Okay, well, I like that setting. It's a nice, simple setting. So before I do anything, I'm just going to push Memorize, A, and then it tells me, do I want to save the rhythm as well? Yes, I sure do. And then I hit Memorize. Oh, wait, I want to pick a number from 1 through 10. Your choices are 1 through 8, or 0. I'm going to push 1 in this case, and then I confirm it by pushing Memorized. Okay? So A1 has that setup that I just saved. Now, but that's not proving anything. The proof is, let's turn it off, turn off all those buttons. Okay? That's not the setup I just had. All right? Sorry if I shocked you there. I'm going to push A1 again. And watch. So if you ever wonder how do we get sounds so quickly, it's because we save a ball in advance. And then when we play, we don't have to push a lot of buttons. We just push the preset we save. So it's a great feature. And then, of course, over here, our category presets, we had some big band ones. We have one called Country. So I thought I'd have a little fun with this country style. This was one that was always saved for the larger models, and it's called Roadside Cafe. I'll start off with rhythm preset, And then I'm going to hit the country button and bounce around from 1 through 8. And again, this is group participation. And I'm going to look on the screen. So you get to pick a number from 1 through 8 as I look up. All right, well, let me start off with the initial one. Here we go. Do I hear yeehaw? No, you got to unmute yourself and do yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
That was Sean.
Yeehaw!
All right, there we go.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to look over. I'm going to push the country category. Just look up on the screen here. Put up a number from 1 through 8. Okay, I got number 4 from Jeannie. Ooh, a low guitar. Another number? It looks like 2 fingers. James, I don't know, Bart. He's giving me the finger. That looks, we just did 4, Bart. Bart's got to pay attention. We're on Zoom and we're recording this, Bart. Watch what you're doing with your fingers there. Lee, give me a number from 1 through 8. We just did number 4. 3. Kathleen? We did 4. Give me another one. 5. Good one. Give me 5 again. Here's 5. Ooh, a steel guitar. Here's number 8. Now, pay very close attention. Lee, pay attention to this one. This is 0. Okay, and I'll explain it afterwards. See if you can catch it. Listen to the sound. Encore, round of applause, round of applause. So the significance of that last setup that I did was country 0 gives us a sound called the dobro. And when this was first introduced on the Prestige, it was magnificent because for the first time we could take an instrument, see, just a nice guitar sound. But if you press the note just a little harder, you don't have to like strike it hard, just a little bit, and hold it, it'll do the bend or the glide for you. Now if I just play those 2 notes just like normal. Whew, I have a lot of fun with that. Anyway, so there's a lot of presets here. Basically, in total, there are 611 presets between the use of the category and the rhythm presets. And the screen always tells us what sound is there. So as I'm playing, when I was doing the country, I knew what I was going to get when you gave me the number and I was pushing the numbers, because it would tell me in the screen, jazz organ, 50s guitar, 2 guitars, duet strings, solo guitar, duet, old piano. It's always telling me, so you never have to guess. The panel tells you too, but it always feeds you that information. Now, I'm going to have a little fun with this number here. Here's a song that you've heard many times over your lifetime, and depending on how you hear it, makes it fun to hear or not. It's also a song that we teach a lot because beginners, when they're first learning, we have to make sure, regardless of the song, we have to choose a song that's easy to play, okay? I'm not talking about Mary Ann. I'm talking about When the Saints Go Marching In. All right? That's like song 4 or 5 in the Conductor Magic book, I believe, in the very beginning. And why do we use that song? It's a fun song if it's upbeat and if you play. It's an easy song to get the fingers moving, getting used to the keys. And it allows you to be familiar with a lot of the songs in that beginner's Conductor Magic book that a lot of students start off with. All right? So this style is really clever because it was introduced on one of the $70,000 models. And when it was put onto this model, I was just surprised that I actually saw and heard it. And this is another one of those, when you listen to it, I'm going to pretend to play the clarinet at times and the brass at times. The fill-ins are all done automatically. So all I have to do is play the song. In fact, do we have a Conductor Magic book? I'm going to take my Conductor Magic beginner's course book, find When the Saints Go Marching In, and I'm going to play the song just like a beginner would. So you all have that song, I'm sure, somewhere in your music. Lee's laughing at me. I know why you're laughing. All right? And I'm just going to I'm going to play the song just like a student. You got your pinky, pointer, thumb. And I'm going to play the melody, and I'm going to let the instrument do all the work for me. So here we go. Okay. Can you see the hands okay like that? I want to make sure you don't see any tricks here. Now, I am going to lift my hand occasionally just so you could hear those fill-ins done in the background. And this is like being in New Orleans listening to one of those Dixieland bands playing this song. This style, in fact, was designed that if you played the song, it's the perfect arrangement. Here we go. And a big round of applause to the Lowrey Encore, everybody. Woo-hoo! And a big round of applause. Wait, to our Lowrey Odyssey, everybody. Woo-hoo! Yes, big round of applause.
All right.
The crowd roars. Oh, and a big round of applause for Lowrey Easy 10, everyone. Woo-hoo!
Hey.
I'll finish up with one last song for you. And actually, let me see if I can get the music for it so I don't mess up. And I'll have a little fun with this song here. But first, before I go, I want to, did everybody enjoy the little event today? You have a good time? We had some great music. I played a nice variety of styles and music for you. A lot of these songs I typically don't play because when you're on a different instruments, we tend to play music that instrument has styles and sounds to offer. So, on some of the models, if I want to play Hawaiian music, I don't do it because it doesn't have a Hawaiian, as an example, or et cetera, et cetera. These instruments, I chose these instruments. I got this wacky idea a few days ago. I was helping a student out, and as I was helping him with one of the instruments, it was actually the Encore, I was like getting excited going, I hardly ever play this instrument. And then I just let time go by. This was actually about a week ago. And then soon after, I had a virtual demonstration scheduled on an instrument called the Holiday Classic, which is the big brother to this. And I took a little sheet out and I wrote all this stuff on there. I was ready to do it. And we had to reschedule. And as I was rehearsing, I was going, goodness, this instrument has so many wonderful sounds and features. And then it inspired me, and I said, wait a second, that's on the Encore. oh my goodness, that features on the Odyssey. Oh gosh, and so the more excited I got about it, I said, I need to do an event where I can, instead of just doing one model, I'll showcase all three. These three instruments have always represented some of the best values over the course of time in its class. So when the Odyssey was around, there was about 7 or 8 models from small to big. When the Easy 10 was in production with the E series, there was again 1, 2, 3, 4, there's I think like 10 E models. And then the Encore was in this series. Again, there's like 10 different models. And what I've discovered is these three, to me, maybe it's a matter of opinion, have always represented not just the best values, but the for pound, feature for feature, what it offers for a hobby player. It offers so many wonderful things. And if you can't feel how excited I am about it, we need to check your pulse. You can tell how excited I am, how much fun I'm having with this. So all I'm going to ask you to do is to have an open mind. If you like it, see what you heard today, or you're thinking maybe someday, this is a great way to treat yourself to a birthday gift. Now you're saying to yourself, birthday, is it my birthday yet? Well, next month we're going to start celebrating 116 years in business. And you don't have to wait for your birthday. You can celebrate it on our birthday, and you don't have to wait till August either. But we do have some phenomenal opportunities on these models, and I'm going to encourage you to have an open mind, reach out to some of the staff members. If you don't know who your PA is, or you want a PA to reach out to you, let me know, and I can make sure that they get in touch with you. And I'm trying to find the song I want to play next. But with that said, I want to thank you for joining me today and allowing me to show off and be crazy and zany and having some fun with you. I'm going to finish off with a fun number here. New York, New York, a great hit, great classic hit. I have the music for it. And I play this style because there are only so many models that actually have this style. And they all happen to be very expensive, except the Encore has it, so that's kind of nice. So I'm going to put on my New York swing style, and we'll have some fun here. And I'll close it off with a little New York, New York. Thank you very, very, very much. And again, a big round of
Thank
applause
you.
to our triple play organs today. The Lowrey Odyssey. Woohoo! The Lowrey
Look at that
Easy
one.
10. Uh-oh.
Yay!
we go. Stay connected here.
All right.
There it is. And then the Lowrey encore, everyone. Encore, encore, encore. That's all I have for you today, folks. Well, we hope you enjoyed this wonderful presentation and demonstration. And I happen to have some of these available in Arizona and in Florida in our gift shop. So I'm going to encourage you, reach out to your PAs, and they can help you out and help find a home for these. We set up a new adoption age. I'm making this stuff up as I go. You know, this is like my fill-in button, Lee. So anyway, thank you so much. And I always like to end an event with keep playing music, stay safe, and see you real soon.